Ever wonder how a skinny, awkward kid with rejection emails piling up ended up being Hollywood's $25 million golden boy? Yeah, we're talking about Timothee freaking Chalamet! The dude who went from, "who's that?" to, "damn, he really is the moment." From quiet auditions nobody clapped for, to literally becoming the face of two of the biggest movie franchises on the planet, Dune and Wonka. This man's glow-up is the kind of stuff agents dream about and casting directors pretended they saw coming. But trust me, it wasn't handed to him on a silver platter. None of it was. Timmy had to grind, cry, take the L's, and keep it moving while most of his peers were still trying to figure out their prom outfit. He didn't just land in the spotlight, he built his way up, role by role, heartbreak by heartbreak, till Hollywood had no choice but to say, okay, yeah, this guy's different. And now, he's fronting magazine covers, pulling fashion flexes no one else dares, leading billion-dollar films, and still making time to drop interviews that break the internet. Whether he's rocking a velvet suit at the Met or singing about chocolate rivers, Chalamet's playing his game, and boy is he winning. So buckle up, because we're about to deep dive into how this dude went from teenage, no thanks, to box office royalty. This is the rise of Timothee Chalamet, the rejected teen turned $25 million Wonka king. Did you know that before Timmy was gracing magazine covers and walking red carpets like he owned them, he was just another skinny kid in NYC with big-ass dreams and zero guarantees? But back then, Hollywood didn't care much. They hit him with rejection after rejection, straight up ghosted him, or passed him over for being too intense or not the right fit. The man even said in interviews that he auditioned for Homeland and The Book Thief and didn't get either. And that stung, cause dude really thought those could have been it. But here's where Chalamet showed he was cut from a different cloth, because most people get that level of rejection and start second guessing. But not Timmy. He just kept showing up. He knew his sauce was different, and he just had to find the right place to serve it on. That's when he went to LaGuardia High, aka Fame School, where the other future stars were grinding too. And even there, he stood out. Teachers said he had that wild, raw energy. Like he could go full Shakespeare in the morning and do a hip-hop dance battle by lunch. But talent alone wasn't getting him through doors. He needed reps, he needed roles, and he certainly needed somebody to take that first real chance on him. And boom! His first proper break came with the TV show Homeland in 2012. Not the biggest role, but enough to get his foot through the crack. From here, he hit some small indie films like Miss Stevens and 1 and 2. And while those didn't blow up, insiders started whispering, like, yo, this Timothee kid is kinda serious. Still, the real glow-up moment didn't hit until 2017. That's when Call Me By Your Name dropped, and the whole world went, wait, who is this dude? Bro had us out here crying over peaches like actual goddamn peaches. And that performance, it was pure heartbreak in cinema. The man delivered effortlessly like he's been doing it for decades. And he didn't even need any artificial gimmicks either. He appeared as he was, just a kid laying his soul bare in front of a camera. The critics were raving, the audiences were obsessed, and suddenly, Timmy was no longer that random dude with the sad eyes. He was that boy. But yo, don't get it twisted. That Oscar nom at 22 didn't just land in his lap. That was years of hustle behind the scenes. Years of not getting roles he knew he could kill. Years of rejection followed by more rejection, and still showing up with the same hunger. That's the real Timothee origin story. A relentless dreamer who ate dirt till the world broke up. Not some lucky kid who got a viral moment. And what really set him apart, he was real to the core and never tried to fake it. That means while other young actors were out there playing a different character, Timmy remained that awkward kid on the red carpet who geeked out talking about his love for film and music. He kept it real. And that authenticity, it hit different in an industry full of smoke and mirrors. So yeah, from the awkward teen rejected at every turn to the breakout indie king, that's chapter 1 in the Chalamet story. But I'll tell you this for free, the glow-up was only getting started. Alright, now here's where the real madness begins, because once Timmy got that Oscar nom for Call Me By Your Name, the industry practically started foaming at the mouth. Every director, casting agent, and studio exec wanted a piece of the it boy, with the curls and emotional depth of a 50-year-old Shakespearean vet. But Timmy, he wasn't just grabbing any bag thrown his way, he was quite literally curating his own glow-up. And then came Dune, the sci-fi beast. The type of epic saga that either launches your career into another galaxy or buries you under CGI sand dunes. And let's keep it real, Dune is not your average blockbuster. This wasn't capes and one-liners. This was dense, political, slow burn, and big brain energy. But guess who they trusted to lead that ship? Our boy Timothee. And at that point, Denis Villeneuve, the guy behind Arrival and Blade Runner 2049, looked at this massive legacy franchise with millions of fans and said, yeah, I want him. Not a muscle-bound action star, not a box office safe bet, him. And Timmy didn't just step up, he owned it. As Paul Atreides, he balanced royalty, rebellion, and teenage angst all in one. Like bro was out there dodging sandworms and existential crises at the same time. From that first scene where he stares into the distance with that chosen one energy, one thing was clear. This was already an instant classic. And then there was something in the way he moved that screamed calculated, quiet, reserved, but heavy with purpose. Man was acting with his eyeballs, and it hit. Dune Part 1 dropped in 2021, right in the middle of the pandemic, and with all the odds stacked against it, but still it crushed it. That Timmy's performance was like watching a babyface Luke Skywalker realize he got to lead an army. Critics raved, fans thirsted, TikTok exploded. Suddenly sci-fi nerds and fashion stands were sharing the same timeline. But hold up, it doesn't stop there, because by the time Dune Part 2 rolled around, Timmy had leveled up again. Part 2 wasn't just about him figuring stuff out. It was him going full Messiah mode. The shy prince, gone. This time we got the Muad'Dib, ready to wreck entire empires. And listen, the pressure was insane. More screen time, bigger stakes, and the whole world watching to see if he could carry the franchise now that he wasn't just the new kid on Arrakis. He was Arrakis. And what did he do? He delivered. Again. His chemistry with Zendaya was off the charts. He had the entire action scenes on lock and carried the emotional weight like a pro. From watching him command armies to observing how he navigated betrayal, you just had to believe it all. And remember, this was the same kid who used to freestyle about science class on Vine. Now, he's leading one of the most complex sci-fi stories ever written and making it look easy peasy. And that Dune Part 2 paycheck, it was no less than $9 to $10 million reportedly. Man's just zipped from indie darling to blockbuster anchor in split seconds, and studios now know he can draw. As a result, every major project in the past 5 years has tried to attach his name. He's become that rare thing in Hollywood, a legit actor with superstar pull. And while most actors use blockbusters to dip into franchises and ride the wave, Timmy turned it around. You watch Dune not just for the world building, but because you want to see what he does with it. That's different. Also, during the promo tour, bro was eating it up. Press runs with Zendaya had TikTok in shambles, and for the red carpets, he was pulling up his fits that looked straight out of a Paris runway. But for him, it wasn't clout chasing, it was branding. He was becoming the face of a new era in Hollywood. He was sensitive, stylish, smart, and lethal on screen. That's what Dune did. It didn't just push his career forward, it redefined him. He was no longer just the artsy guy from that one indie film. He was now the face of a Gen Z blockbuster cinema. The new generation's DiCaprio, with more edge and way better drip. And here's the kicker, he didn't let it go to his head. You couldn't attach him to a scandal even if you tried. No out-of-pocket behavior either, just vibe, work, and more work. He followed up Dune with Wonka, completely flipping the vibe, but providing he could still pull box office numbers in a musical fantasy too. Alright, so while most stars would ride that Dune wave straight into another franchise, bag, or Marvel cameo, Timmy said, nah, let me cook, because here's what sets him apart. He's not just here to be famous, he's here to build a legacy, and that legacy, it runs straight through the heart of indie cinema and prestige film territory. See, even before the Dune madness, Timmy was already laying that groundwork. You don't land a Call Me By Your Name breakout role without being dialed into the art house scene. He grew up frequenting theaters, reading obscure scripts, and working with foreign directors. Dude's been making Oscar bait movies since he was 20, and with clear purpose at that. After blowing up, Timmy could have easily taken the easy road. Cash grabs, action flicks, and rom-coms. But nah, he was hopping on Lady Bird, playing a chain-smoking high school poser named Kyle. That role saw him get a tiny screen time, but unforgettable nonetheless. Classic indie cinema moments like that are how you build clout with directors like Greta Gerwig, who was already being hailed as the next big auteur. Now that's no fluke, it's strategic. And then, boom, Little Women, another Greta collab, a period piece and an all-star cast, but somehow Timmy still stood out. Fast forward, and you'll notice a pattern. Timmy's not chasing trends, he's curating a portfolio. From movies like Beautiful Boy, where he played a meth addict struggling to get clean opposite Steve Carell, you could see there's no glam and no fluff, just raw emotion and one of the most gut-wrenching performances of his career. And guess what? Another Golden Globe nom. It's almost like he made a vow that for every blockbuster, he'll drop a slow burn masterpiece or a soul-ripping character study. Such balance is never easy, but it's what separates movie stars from actors. The real ones. They live in that between space. And Timmy always studied that playbook in real time. Even when he took on The King on Netflix, where he played young Henry V, it wasn't just to wear armor and look cool for him. It was Shakespearean-level drama featuring political strategy and inner turmoil, all while rocking that iconic bowl cut. Bro made medieval emo hot again, and it showed he could carry a film solo. No ensemble, no Zendaya, just vibes and monologues. And the fact that he's not boxed in, that's what makes Timmy dangerous. You want vulnerable and broken? He's got it. You want charismatic and charming? Easy. You want weird and unpredictable? He'll drop into a Wes Anderson flick like The French Dispatch and eat it up. Speaking of which, let's talk about his Wes collab. If Dune was about scale, French Dispatch was about detail. Every frame was a painting, and every line was rapid-fire poetry. And yet, Timmy brought softness, curiosity, and that intellectual edge that made his character feel real in the middle of all that aesthetic chaos. Only a few actors can blend into an art piece and pop off the screen, and he's one of them. Now, here's the secret sauce. Timmy doesn't just act prestige, he lives it. You'll catch him at a fashion week, Paris cafes, and art exhibits. His interviews sound like he's always 5 steps into a philosophy book with quotes from poems and references from Kubrick. The man's a walking Criterion collection. And let's not forget, the Academy loves a good narrative. The kid from NYC drama school who chased roles with raw talent and no nepotism. The breakout star who could have sold out but didn't. The pretty face who chooses pain over polish on screen. They eat that up. So yeah, while everyone else was beefing on Twitter or chasing box office clout, Timmy was in his auteur bag building trust with top-tier directors, playing the long game, and laying bricks for a career that's gonna age like fine wine. Now it's time to talk about the ultimate glow-up moment for Timothee. And it wasn't landing the lead role in Wonka. This wasn't just any gig. This was the one that catapulted him straight into that elite $25 million paycheck. Like, we're talking serious Hollywood royalty money, no cap. From being the kid who faced rejection and doubts to becoming the face of a major franchise reboot, that's a whole mood. See, just like the movie, the character Willy Wonka is goated. This is one character that has maintained its status as a pop culture legend for decades. And you already know that finding someone to play this role perfectly would have been a headache for the casting crew. But one look at Timothee, and they went, yo, we got our man. And that alone was enough to get the fans buzzing in delight. And for Timmy, well, he was ready to carry that legacy and own it his way, with that unique flair and magnetic charm that he so effortlessly lets off. And don't sleep on the business side of things. That $25 million paycheck, that's not just a number. It's a straight-up indicator that Hollywood sees Timothee as a bankable star. They're betting on him, and he's proving he can deliver both the performance and the crowd-pulling power. With such a paycheck in his pocket, the name Timothee could now stay in the same shelf with some of the biggest names in the industry, and it's only just the beginning. But something else you should know is that Timothee wasn't handed this role on a silver platter. No. His recognition for him was the result of years of constant grinding, jumping from small indie flicks to major blockbusters while keeping his eyes on the prize. When he landed that role as Willy Wonka, he knew, and everyone in the industry knew as well, that this isn't just extra credit. It's the defining moment that stamps Timmy's incredible rise to stardom. The one rejected teen has forced his way in as a Hollywood powerhouse legend, doing so with a certain elegance and poise that only he has. Alright, now let's talk about Timothee's style game, because this dude isn't just acting his way into Hollywood's Hall of Fame. He's also slaying the fashion world like it was nobody's business. Take one look at his red carpet moments, and you'll see the obvious. This dude may have just been made for the runway. But that's no accident. It's a freaking force of nature. That cool, edgy, and boundary-pushing vibe, he bodies it naturally, like it's just another part of his being. And it just might be. This is why designers can't wait to get their brands on him, just for that mad hype he carries. He literally became a style icon, and now his fashion choices aren't just about looking good. They're about making statements and dropping samples of what a young Hollywood star should look like. Simply put, Timothee is not just an actor, he's now a whole damn movement. But beyond fashion, Timothee's influence also spreads its tentacles wide across social media and pop culture at large. It's almost as if he's got that rare ability to connect authentically, making people feel like they're part of his journey, a connection that is pure gold in the industry today. And that's why his fans obsess over him like high school kids obsessing over a celebrity crush. And what's more, he doesn't even try to bask in his fame, but he does it ever so elegantly regardless. Marketing teams love him too, because Timothee's name brings serious clout. When he signs onto a project or partners with a brand, it's an instant buzz generator. He has so casually created a loyal fan base that's massive across Gen Zs and millennials lining up under every post, tweet, or snap. That pull, that's A1 pull, the kind that studios dream about. And you best believe it can guarantee instant box office hits in a twinkle. Plus, Timmy's not just about the glitz. He's smart enough to only opt for roles and endorsements that fit his brand and image without necessarily overdoing it. You see that balance? That's how you build lasting influence in an industry that eats stars alive and spits them out like it's nothing. So here's the $1 million question. No, scratch that. No. Here's the $25 million question. What's next for Timothee Chalamet? What could be next for a dude like Timmy, who just led 2 major franchises, became the Gen Z fashion icon, and made studios throw bags his way like it's nothing? Well, if there's one thing we've learned about Timmy, it's that he never stays in one lane for long. Dune Part 2 already isn't just a box office success. It has proved to be more of a cultural reset. Now with talks of Dune, Messiah, or other sequels already brewing, the natural expectation is for Jimmy to stay on board. But here's the twist. Chalamet may not want to be locked into one character forever. He's got that art over algorithm mindset, and while he respects the blockbusters, you can tell he's itching to switch it up again before Hollywood tries to typecast him. Next up, that long-awaited Bob Dylan biopic. Yep, it's still happening, and Timmy's been putting in work. Rumors have it that he's learning guitar, getting the voice down, and tapping into that chaotic genius energy that made Dylan a legend. If he nails this, it's going to be a complete transformation, like Rami Malek in Bohemian Rhapsody, just with more grit, raw energy, and that head-scratching unpredictability. And if Chalamet goes full method for it, he just might walk off straight into award season again, only this time with a guitar in hand. Movies like this, they aren't just popcorn flicks. They are the slow burn, character-driven dramas that rack up trophies and remind people that under all that style is an actor who seriously got that range. Expect something in the psychological thriller or drama lane, maybe even a messed up indie flick that flips his image again. Timmy's always got one foot in the Oscar game. Now, here's something else you probably have been expecting, and it's the fact that Timmy's not just in films. He's front row at every major fashion show, rewriting the red carpet rulebook. But what if he flips the script and starts his own brand? That would be something indeed, and if we're being honest, it probably isn't too far-fetched. With the kind of influence he has, you already know whatever he drops in this line is guaranteed to generate instant heat. Oh, and we aren't even talking about the wild card yet. Those unexpected moves. He could randomly pop up in a horror film, something gritty and psychological that throws everyone off. Something as surprising as maybe a Broadway debut. He's already theatrical, loves a challenge, and New York is in his DNA, so nothing is off the table. He could even choose to drop a Sunrise music EP and go full Childish Gambino on us. So if you ask me, what's the next step for Timothee Chalamet? Anything and every damn thing. Dude has placed himself in the rare position where the world doesn't dictate his next step. He does, and with much gusto at that. Timmy has proved again and again that he's not just playing the fame game, he's redefining it. So, in case you were wondering what we just witnessed, it's the rise of Timothee Chalamet. And it isn't just another Hollywood fairy tale. This is a masterclass on how to move in an industry that eats people alive. From getting passed over in high school roles to headlining billion-dollar franchises, Timmy didn't just climb the ladder, he built his own damn staircase. And let's be real, this man had options, comfortable ones at that. He could have taken the easy route, but that's not his style. Instead, he bet on art. Messy, complicated, prestige-level art. That takes guts, especially for a guy who got famous for playing sensitive boys with sad eyes. But don't get it twisted, because Chalamet's no niche indie darling anymore. The moment he signed on for Wonka and Dune, he proved he could move tickets, anchor tent poles, and bring in that mainstream coin. Now he's got a $25 million paycheck and global fan base. Somehow he still feels like that same artsy, low-key dude, New York.